little fishies, and welcome to all new first issues, the weekly #1 comics review show. These are the polls from the week of June 1st, 2016. As always, I'm the Archivist, and we have a lot of new comics to cover, culminating with the anticipated first issues of DC Rebirth. But, like I said, we've got a lot of comics to get through before we can reach that goal, so let's get the ball rolling with the next big thing. Marvel's Civil War II #1 of 7, written by Brian Michael Bendis, art by David Marquez, and colors by Justin Ponzer. Right, so the big Civil War event's coming out. Before I get into the whole of it, I'm making the assumption that Road to Civil War explains the Celestial Destroyer, and Doctor Strange finally did manage to fix the magic, since that's how they end the Celestial Destroyer. Anyways, they all find out about Super Cosmic Destroyer because of Ulysses, an Inhuman that can see the future. But as Tony points out, it's only a possible future, as they kinda stopped what he saw, and they can't even corroborate with others to use these visions as guides because his mind can't be read. While on the other hand, Carol's all, hey, join our team, we want to do a prevention thing. However, of course, after the moral dick measuring, Tony leaves. But that night, Tony gets summoned because Ulysses had a vision, so Carol and a team of Avengers went to stop Thanos. In that ambush, War Machine and She-Hulk died. Tony's right pissed about it. And that's the first one. Guess what? It'd make an interesting book if they didn't frame it as Civil War II. Seriously. This book should not be 7 issues long, not including the dozens of tie-ins to it. This truly would make a fantastic 4-parter dealing with the loss of Tony's friend and one of Carol's friends. Though, no, not best friend, they keep playing to the point that her best friend is Jessica Drew. As it is, it's just not good. There's been tons of profits in the Marvel Universe. Unless the A-Naditing was actually a reboot that removed most of the memories and actual people like Destiny, Julia Carpenter, or Madam Web in general. Gateway, Nightfall, John Carrick, and Little Bro, just to name the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. So Tony bringing up that logic of having a clairvoyant and how Carol is just blindly going, whatevs, I want one, is just kinda stupid. But Carol isn't stupid, Bendis. She's hot-headed, definitely, but she's not stupid, so why in the hell would she go after Thanos with only a handful of people on the grounds of ambushing him? Sigh. But at least the art is really good. I can safely say that for much. As much as I want to say that this is ignorable, it's going to be the thing that most every Marvel title is going to be focusing on, so like hell if you'll actually be able to ignore it. Yeah, I got no definitive answers here. But hey, there is an event ending that was actually worth a read. Marvel's Spider-Women Omega #1, written by Dennis Hopeless, art by Nico Leon, and colors by Rochelle Rosenberg. So this is the last issue of an event that I've been following, and it's awesome. Short of it, Cindy Moon of Earth-65 stole Spider-Gwen's Vortex Manipulator. No, that's not what it's called, but it basically does the same thing, dimensions, not time though, and starts stealing tech for her empire from Earth-616, or Prime Earth, whatever Marvel's officially calling it now, and it's up to the gals to take her down. There's a lot of other things that happened, but really this issue is just basically the epic fight between evil Cindy Moon and Spidey's Angels, plus a great wrap-up. Yes, I may be a bit on the fanboy side of this because I actually enjoyed the writing for all 3 characters from their respective writers, and Spider-Woman is a fantastic mind meld of these writers. The writing is spot on awesome and the art is fantastic. But yes, I will have to stress that you should check out the Alpha, which I did cover in all new first issues #6 about 2 months ago, which I gave a glowing review for, and then the tie-in issues that expound so much on both the Earth-65 world and the characters themselves. It is a seriously brilliant cross-title story that really doesn't get hindered by trying to be anything more than a bombastic ride-along with these characters, that even builds upon said characters because of it. So go and get it all now. But if you must wait for a trade for it, then don't wait a day later than when it comes out. You know, unless you have to, but don't let this slip through your fingers is all I'm saying. In other news, Marvel has stuff in their Timely Comics banner, which is literally just a good way to check out the first 3 issues of their newer books, for about the same price as a single new issue. However, I have a review up for Inhumans #1, Carnage #1, and all new All Different Avengers #1 and 2 up on my Facebook page. So to keep this short, Timely Comics All New All Different Avengers #1 is definitely worth a buy. Hey, I'm trying to keep this episode short. It's good. Go read it. Now we get to Think Pink with Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Pink #1 of 6, written by Brendan Fletcher and Kelly Thompson, illustrated by Daniel De Nicolo, and colors by Sarah Stern. So Kimberly is in Paris after leaving Angel Grove and giving her Ranger coin to Catherine, you know, that cat chick. But that doesn't mean that Kimberly is out of being a butt kicker. Nope, she's actually still relatively active in the scene, and when her mother is kidnapped while she's at a gymnastics tournament, it is up to her to save abducted adults from being transformed into mindless monsters by Goldar. Goldar so hard Pink Ranger's gonna find him. That Zordon. That was the first referential joke that popped into my head. Fine. When talking about a Valley Girl in Paris, I won't quote Jay-Z or Kanye. Right, review time. Anyways, I really enjoyed this. While I think they tried making Kimberly kind of too much of a badass, with having a sleek motorcycle and instantly hopping into Hawkeye mode when her mom goes missing, suiting up in a Mad Max outfit to do it, while it doesn't hinder the story as much as you'd think, it's still kind of just awkward. What's even greater than all that, this story actually references and explains away some of the bits of that Sword of Light, or whatever it was that transferred the Power Coin's power to the other new Rangers, but not Kimberly to Catherine. So Kimberly gets to morph into an all-new outfit. It's a fun read, and the visuals work well along those lines, giving her the action feel that the story deems, and actually stays a lot darker in style and color scheme than something called Pink would suggest. So if you're a fan of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, this is a great miniseries focusing on Kimberly after she had to leave being a Power Ranger. On the other side, there's Dynamite, The Shadow, The Death of Margo Lane #1, written and illustrated by Matt Wagner, and colors by Brennan Wagner. The Tongs of New York are all but a nuisance now, with Shiwan Khan having fallen, but the new case against the Red Empress ramps up when on a voyage to the Orient to find answers about her, men attack Margo and Lanston, knowing that he is the Shadow. When they return to New York, they get into the case of a missing heiress, which is just a trap set to cage the Shadow. So the Shadow is in hot water this time. I mean, the Red Empress not only knows who the Shadow is, but is targeting him in the right ways to leave him caged by the end. Matt Wagner really goes wild with this plot, making an enemy that makes the Shadow's classic arch-nemesis Shiwan Khan look like an altar boy, having the Shadow actually feel like he's in for the fight of his life, and having Margo Lane be the narrator adds a depth to the mystery of the Shadow that works well. Plus, he's pulling double duty on art, which I know is not going to be for everyone, but I enjoyed it. While not crisp or overly detailed, it gives a fluidity and shade to the whole thing that works to make it a great look for a neo-pulp book. And Brennan Wagner on colors keeps everything dark and mysterious while highlighting when the need arises to really just mesh it all so well together. So if you're a fan of The Shadow, then this is a must. And if you aren't, well, maybe this is the book that's going to make you want to check out the rest. Also from Dynamite, there's Dynamite's Control #1 of 6, written by Andy Diggle and Angela Cruikshank, art by Andrea Muddy, and colors by Vladimir Popov. Detective Kane Burnham and her partner are called to an officer down. When they arrive, 2 officers are dead and a man is hanging. However, her partner saw the shooter coming down the stairs. He chases after, while Kate tries to save the hanging man and her downed cohorts. But her partner is shot and killed by the gunman. Now Kate has a new partner and control of a squad to find the shooter. Well, I really haven't read a good political thriller in a while, and this has the feel to turn out to be a doozy. Andy Diggle and Angela Cruikshank create a great character with Kate, and actually makes her partner Mitch relatively memorable before he's shot in the back. And you can see the wheels in this story moving with every page. The art also keeps a hard grittiness to it that really keeps everything grounded and allow for the murky nature of the story to emanate in every panel. So most definitely this is a read. While following a police officer has become one of the de facto comic plots, you don't see rust on the archetype in this one. So go check it out if you're a fan of the PD genre. Then we have Aftershocks, The Revisionist #1, written by Frank J. Barbier, art by Gary Brown, with colors by Lauren F. Marty Monroe is the Revisionist, a model inmate who is gifted the powers to go through time by his father. He is now a time-traveling assassin, saving the timeline by unscrewing what his father done screwed up. It makes sense to me, damn it. But God, there is so much more to this that just that snippet doesn't do justice to. You absolutely need to read this. Frank Barbier not only sets up the basic framework, but gives us a protagonist that you want to follow through this. And the dual nature of the writing, with showing prison Marty and future Marty and all the motivation there, just makes every scene feel unique and important. And let's be honest, this isn't a new concept, but Frankie Boy makes it feel like you've not read one of these time travel stories at least this entire year. Then there's the art. Gary Brown really has a solid feel for the story being told. While some art can complement a book looking pristine or rich in depth, this art actually complements it by being rough, sketchy at times, and a bit minimalist in others. That's what really engages me. The action is fluid while the art is rough. The characters are always on model but feel like they could just snap apart at any minute. It not only complements the writing, but I think it's an art style that is complemented by the writing. And Af's colors, which are muted but know when to pop just for the right effect towards the action. And yes, for everyone curious, there's a fantastically psychedelic trip that I haven't mentioned because again, God, this book is good and you need to read it right now. Aftershock Comics has yet to disappoint me creatively, though they don't seem to accept my call for free stuff. Hey, I don't make money off these videos. Okay, that's not true. I made a penny last month. Please note, I'm merely ribbing Aftershock and just making light of things, and in no way would anyone sending me anything free change my opinion of the wonderful taste of Mountain Dew. Sorry, okay, I'll stop joking. Seriously, go get this book. I know there's a lot happening in the big two, but if you've been ignoring Aftershock just to squeeze on another big name on your pull list, then you are missing out on probably the company with the best batting average to date. Next, we get some white-on-white violence with Zenescope, Snow White vs. Snow White #1, written by Lou Iovino, art by David Cutler, with colors by Valentina Cuomo. This story takes place between Grim Fairy Tales 114 and 115, so if you haven't been following the books, I understand if you haven't, I'll admit I haven't, but the plot is the binder is trying to gain ultimate power, and he attempts to bind all the characters that are out of his storybook back into it to create a portal to get more power. However, in doing so, he accidentally creates an evil incarnation of Selah Mathers, the eponymous Snow White. Selah has to now deal with an evil that looks like her and wants her to suffer. There's a lot that happens in this book that can confuse first-timers going in. However, there's a fantastic duality to the writing, as well as the stunning art and colors, that makes this an interesting read. Iovino really plays around with the good versus evil theme, touching on classic Greek mythology to even having a feel of the goatee mirror universe style from Star Trek. And like I said, the art is stunning, yet kept simple to not muddle a plot that I think is really focused on in a deliberate writing style, but that doesn't stop some great panels to shine through. Plus, Cuomo's colors really paint the world with both vibrant colors and yet a dark undertone that just ramps it all up. So as a fairly green guy in the Grim Fairy Tale universe, I can say that this is a great read to check out. It's a book that may make you definitely want to check out the previous 100 or so issues, and who knows, maybe if I can get all the copies, this will be my next A Blank a Day to counter Fables. Either way, I would say if you have a chance, give it a read. You hopefully won't be disappointed. Onward to a metric ton of DC books. First, there's a director's cut to Batman Europa, which I did do a review of on my Facebook page when it first came out. So if you want to know what I felt about that, go like and look around the Archivist on Facebook for it. Now we move on to the first wave of reboot books, starting with DC's Superman Rebirth #1, written by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, pencils by Doug Mankey, inks by Jaime Mendoza, and colors by Will Cantata. So, New 52 Superman is dead. I know, spoilers, but this issue deals with post-crisis Superman, who's been on New 52 World Land thing since Convergence, and in a great book, Lois and Clark. But anyways, post-crisis Clark is waiting patiently at the grave of New 52 Supes for him to be reborn. An impatient Lana Lang is also there at his grave, but to remove him to bury him in Smallville as he wished. However, post-crisis Supes relates his own resurrection story, and we all know that one, the death of Superman at the hands of Doomsday, to Lana before she guilts him into aiding New 52 Superman's rebirth by going to the Fortress of Solitude. But when they do get up there, they find out there is no resurrection matrix, so there is no hope for resurrecting this Superman. But that doesn't mean the future is without a Superman. ... Like I said, if you have no idea why the iconic Superman's in this world, it's explained and handled really, really phenomenally well in the Lois and Clark book that follows him, post-crisis Lois, and their child living in the New 52 world, and it is honestly one of the top Superman books of the past 5 years. And with the death of the Man of Steel the internet couldn't get behind, will we see the return of the iconic Man of Tomorrow? Well, even if not, Tomasi and Gleason really get a fantastic epilogue to the death of New 52 Supes, and really hits the heart of Superman in general. Something interesting I like that they did, that probably not a lot of people will notice, is that Post-Crisis Soups actually brings up that he never thought about making two separate statues for both sets of his parents. You know, one, Jor-El and whatever his mom's name is, holding up Krypton, with Ma and Pa Kent holding up Earth. And Lana really does add a great human element to this. Plus, the art is very Superman, and seeing the fight between PC Superman and Doomsday in their iconic stance and panel and outfits showcases why this art style and coloring really feels as iconic as the fight it's portraying. So, this is the return to everyone's favorite Superman, and yet hopefully we can still move forward with the character. This is a definite must-buy. Next is DC's Green Lanterns, Rebirth #1, written by Jeff Johns and Sam Humphries, art by Ethan Von Skeever and Ed Benez, with colors by Jason Wright. Hey, what has Simon Baz been up to? Either way, we're treated with the same old shtick of him being the easy out for commentary on the US views of Muslims as he cleans off the word terrorist from his sister's garage before being called off to Green Lantern duty. Elsewhere, Jessica Cruz, the newest Lantern after the whole Darkseid war, I think that's when she popped into the trade, gets the same call to arms as a spaceship enters the Earth's atmosphere. She bumps into Baz and they both have a quick, "No wait, I'm the Earth's Lantern," before Manhunter Robot comes out of the spacecraft and generally kicks their butt. Yet, Hal Jordan flies in, and we find out that he was controlling the Manhunter the whole time. It was just a training simulation. After breaking up their bickering, Hal has them summon their power batteries, and then merges them together. They're now partners, and need to learn to act like it. Meanwhile, far into the stars, Atrocitus looks out over his barren planet. He's ready to start his plans for Earth. Dun dun dun! Right, so we've got a partnering between the two newest Lanterns, and I'll be honest, I don't really recall anything that Baz has done in the past 5 years, save for his first appearance, and then just kinda turning into a jobber. But Jessica Cruz is the newest Greenhorn, so I think it's an interesting partnering, to say the least. It should easily flesh out both characters into being well-rounded as they should be. The one thing I have to say I'm sad for is that Hal, during his speechifying about them both being rookies, never once called either of them Poozer. Seriously, it writes itself. But the writing actually is really good for a first issue, basically going, "Here, share a book." And the art is simply great, with the colors being vibrant as any good Green Lantern book should be. So if you're a fan of the Green Lantern mythos, this is definitely worth picking up. Then there's DC's Green Arrow Rebirth #1, story by Benjamin Percy, with art and colors by Otto Schmidt. Well, they finally have Black Canary and Green Arrow in a book together, and this issue really plays around with them never really having met before, and where all of us Alinary, yeah okay that name sucked, but people who ship Black Canary and Green Arrow together, wanting them to be. This is the beginning, and it feels it as they save a homeless encampment outside of Seattle from underground men who have been kidnapping them to auction them off. Yes, this is the meet-cute for Dinah Lance and Oliver Queen, and I think I may have missed a lot by really not following either of their books, but Percy gives a great talk between them that basically runs down who they are and what type of person they are. While this isn't the ultra-liberal Ollie of the before times, he works great to counter Black Canary, and you can really see the partnership between the two of them flow naturally into what I hope will be a continuing thing for this book. As for the art, originally the first couple pages didn't do anything for me, feeling like a rough draft that should have gotten an inker in to tighten it up, but that is until we get into the deeper dark of the city and the surrounding area. The underground men are downright terrifying at times in this style, and everything has a really heavy dark to it that works. However, Canary and Arrow look really good throughout it, and unlike a lot of books that have to go into the darker, Sharpie sketch direction, the action still flows naturally to denote action. So I think that I'll be adding this to my pull list. As a Green Arrow fan, I'm seeing a good direction that I want to check out every issue of, and you should check this one out too to see if you feel the same way. Finally, we end with DC's Batman Rebirth #1, written by Scott Snyder and Tom King, art by Mike Janin, and colors by June Chung. So Bruce and Duke, Duke being the Black Robin everyone was talking about forever ago, though he may not be a Robin after all, are attempting to stop Calendar Man's spores, which have been changing the seasons in Gotham. Yet all the while, we learn that Bruce isn't training Duke to be the next Robin. He's training him to be, my god, a Wolverine-Batman amalgam cosplayer! No, not Darkclaw. Kinda looks like the color scheme went the opposite side. So, I have no idea who Duke is. I don't know if this is a major thing, but they introduce him fairly well in this. And Bruce is as awesome as always. Actually, writing-wise, I'm really glad that Scott Snyder and Tom King worked double on this, or however it went, because it really showcases that perhaps Batman is in great hands, passing from Snyder to King for the main book. Though, I've seen Tom's stuff before and he's more than competent to handle this. And the art sticks it well, with solid line work, top tier action, and basically while Superman can be seen as a throwback to the before time meeting the current age of digital art, this is taking the feel of the Bat books and just progressing it. I am a little skeptical on the yellow bat jumpsuit Duke is sporting though, but I don't really see it in action in this, so it's hard to say. Either way, I'm definitely interested, and if you know anything, it's that the New 52 Batman book was probably the only comic that people liked out of the New 52 universally. And I can see this definitely staying on the top sellers list. Pick it up and see for yourself. That's a full lid, folks. I didn't mean to make another video where I basically just say everything was awesome, go for it. But hey, sometimes a good read is just worth it, and other times you have Civil War. Anyways, if I missed a comic, or if you agree or disagree with me, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the Archivist on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. Links in the thingy down below. And as always, give a look around Badly.Productions, where there is great articles on manga, video games, comics, basically a one-stop shop for articles on most any nerdy topic you can think of. It's really great. Now I'm the Archivist, and stay golden, Inklings.